What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to a rather frustrated Anfield Agenda match reaction after the Reds and Leeds have drawn 0-0 at Anfield in the first game of 2026. The thumbnail today is down to me. I asked Connor to put the words dull, dull, dull on the thumbnail because let's be honest, that's pretty much what we looked at today. Dull, 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 boring, aimless football. Whatever way you want to dress this up, of course, it is your prerogative. For me, we are 8 games unbeaten. That is the truth of it. But is it good enough? No way. Not by a long shot. Not by a long slot. Whichever way you want to say it. That was another performance where it showed that we still have a long way to go. What was the aim? What was the threat? Did we create? No, no, no. The changes, even though the ones that, let's be honest, most of us thought were the right ones, really didn't give us much to the game. And in the end, unfortunately, it came down to desperation. Could we score? Could we find a breakthrough at the end? And the answer to that one was no. Leeds had the goal correctly ruled out for offside, but it was marginal, but it was the right decision. Only for that, we could be sitting here again talking about a loss. So I will leave it up to you to decide where your heads are at with it. But I am still not seeing a methodology or a formulation to the style of play that is in any way clear cut to me. In the first half, I thought we played better again than we did in the second half. The first half, it felt like we were trying to be patient. We were trying to create overload. Second half, then immediately the panic feels like it starts to set in again and we get frustrated. That's how I've seen it. We'll run through some of the numbers for you in a second. Roshi said, we're stuck with Slot at least until the end of the season, so get used to it. Our players do not want to be playing this way. They're instructed to. Stevie Boy said, sorry, but it's time for Slot to go. I just don't see any world where he gets fired at the minute. Look at what's happened at Chelsea and Enzo Maresca. Now, we don't know what's gone on there behind the scenes, but we do know that wasn't good enough for Chelsea's board and Maresca's gone. Liverpool are 8 games unbeaten. That is true. But we've missed another opportunity now when Chelsea drop points, when Villa drop points. And again, I must repeat this in what is supposed to be the easy run. We mentioned during the game when Sky put up the graphic that we have some tricky away games coming up now over the next 6. And the results are going to be harder to come by. This is a game today that wherever you are with the manager, in, out, love him, don't like him, it doesn't matter. Let's be honest. Today was a game that you expected Liverpool to win. Today is a game that we should have won. And I'm not saying we deserve to win, but we should be winning these games. And yet again, against Leeds, we've drawn twice. That's not good enough, ladies and gentlemen. That's not good enough for defending champions. That's not good enough with the investment. That's not good enough with the talent and the quality of players we have at the club. And again, I think it's down to the manager and his tactics. Yes, there are individual players that haven't performed well enough, but ultimately, it's another day of frustration. And that's how fans are feeling right now. Frustrated. Let's run through some of the numbers. 69% possession for the Reds versus 31 for Leeds. 19 shots, 4 on target. Now, I want to dwell on that stat just for just a moment. Because this isn't the first, second, third, fourth, 10th time this season we'll have seen a stat somewhat similar to that. 19 strikes, 4 on target. There has to be something to this. Because it happens in a lot of our games, right? We'll have 25 shots, 4 on target. 22 shots, 5 on target. Leeds, 4 shots, 2 on target. So we're either taking shots when we shouldn't be, we're taking too many touches and allowing our shots to be closed down. But either way, that conversion rate is nowhere near acceptable. Leeds have had 50% of the shots they took on target. Us, what, 19.5%? Something like that. On top of that, 75 dangerous attacks for Liverpool, 31 for Leeds. 8 corners for the Reds, 3 for Leeds. We've gone now close to 100 corners with scoring 1. That's where we're at with that side of it. I guess the good news is we didn't concede today. We kept a clean sheet. And for that, I'll always be grateful. But again, it's just a frustrating performance. I do want to say thank you though to our sponsors, Big Up, and just a reminder, you can join us for big up prediction games on every Liverpool watch-along this season. Download the iOS app or get yourself over to bigup.com and enter either of the games if you are 18 or over. Predictions games will be live. There's flex play and power play options. In power play, you need to get every selection right. In flex play, as long as you choose 3 or more options, you can get 1 wrong and still win a prize. And again, thank you to our sponsors, Big Up. If you make your first prediction entry, you will get $5 and 500 Big Up big bucks, excuse me, for your first entry, and thank you to them. I'm just, lads, I sat here last night as the clock struck midnight with everybody, and we welcomed in the new year together, those of us that were here. And I got up today and I said, right, Craig, positive Craig, let's go. Let's start the year off in a good way. Through the game, I tried my best. I kept trying to be positive. I kept trying to be upbeat. But as time went on and the clock kept ticking, the frustration boils and adds and boils and adds. And I'm seeing comments in the chat and I'm reading the comments and people are feeling the same. Where are we at now? Like, genuinely, where's your heads at in the chat? Because we can look at it and say we're unbeaten in 8. And that is a factual statement. But I don't think it tells everything. Because it's more frustration at home in a game where we didn't create enough. We just didn't. Right, let's get stuck into some more of your comments. Where are we at? Disappointed by the result, however, encouraged by the fact we didn't concede the set piece or look like we're going to concede at any point. Should say a lot the other teams celebrate a draw. Well, you're right in most of what you've said, but we were Dominic Calvert-Lewin leg hanging in the wrong area away from losing that game 1-0. Let's not forget that moment as well. But yeah, we did keep a clean sheet, and I'm always grateful for a clean sheet, mate. Slot is making me bored of watching Liverpool, said Tipsy Dipsy. And by the way, I'm not choosing these comments. These are super chats in a row as I'm reading them out. So don't think I'm cherry picking the negative ones or anything like that. I'm reading these out as they're sent in. Nessie said, no game plan. He just throws out every player and hopes for a miracle. No wonder he only cares about the result. Get him out. It's clear that the football is shite, said XX Spider Sith. Bricktop said, Rio looked good, but this Muppet won't play him. I thought Rio had some decent moments when he came on. At least he was looking like he was making something happen. I did notice again the Gakpo thing. He needs to understand he can turn left. He doesn't always have to turn right, Cody. I know he was only on for a part of the game. But the one, and it's easy to Monday morning quarterback this stuff, isn't it? But the one thing for me, and I said it straight away, is I would have played Kirkes from the start. I think that energy would have given us a bit more down the left than we got from Robertson. But that being said, look, like as I said, Monday morning quarterbacking is easy. I just came into this with real high hopes to keep the winning run going. Kyle said, style of play is boring, boring, boring. FSG won't sack Slot whilst in the top 4, said Mastad. Your man of the match poll, by the way, is running, folks, if you'd like to have a vote on it. The options that we have for you guys today are Ryan Gravenberch, Dominic Soboslai, Jeremy Frimpong, or Hugo Ekitike. And don't forget, if you'd like to join the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp, that is where you can submit your player ratings. Excuse me, wrong logo there. Yeah, you can submit your player ratings by joining the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp, which the QR code will be on the bottom corner in a moment. Where is it? Where is it, Craig? Come on. Is it this one? No. How do I not know where my own things are? Yeah, my apologies. Anyway, the link to the WhatsApp's in the description of the stream. Anyway, let's keep going. How do I not know where that is, though? That's annoying me, but that's my own wandering mind. Curtis said, effing sick of him at this point. Time to go. Horrible to watch. We can't get any worse under someone different. 1.9% XG, or 1.9 XG, said Busted Nut, excuse me. Look, XG is great, but doesn't change the scoreline. You know, we created moments, definitely. Just not enough, and we didn't really work the keeper. Yeah, so let me try this. There you go. There's the WhatsApp QR code now in the bottom corner. Thank you, Connor. So if you want to join the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp to submit your player ratings, you'll scan that QR code there in the bottom corner of the screen. Right, let's keep going with your comments. And don't forget, Man of the Match poll is running there if you'd like to have your say. Chris Thorne said, I just hate Dutch football, and especially when there seems to be no consistency and no plan on how to get the result against low block teams. For me, it's the chance that Hugo sideways header that said it all. Look, I don't want to say Dutch football, non-Dutch football or whatever, but what I see is a team that do dominate possession, do create a lot of passes, but it's the incisiveness or lack of incisiveness that I find frustrating. Yeah, that's it for me. A lot of the stuff, I don't mind. The tempo could be better. I did enjoy some of the pressing in the first half. But it's not exciting. It's not edge of your seat style of football. But maybe, do you guys wrestle with this in your own minds? Do you wrestle with, was Jurgen Klopp's stuff so unique that anything else we ever see isn't quite going to be that? And maybe we're being unfair to Arne? Or is it just that it is just dull as dishwater football? Because there could be a bit of truth in both of those statements. Footy Banter said, keep calling Slot's boring tactics, not good enough. Frimpong played well, thought, why does he keep getting players to overpass? I can't answer that, mate. I don't know the answer to why we overplay at times. I did like Frimpong, like yourself. Some lovely work from him down the right-hand side. Especially the ability to go past the man, which has been something I thought we'd lack quite a bit. And I did enjoy that. I think if you had given us Kirkes in the first half, we could have overwhelmed Leeds in wide areas, and maybe that created a bit more space for the likes of Wirtz or Rakatike to have a moment. James Smith said, WTF are we watching at the minute? What WTF did Slot say to them at half-time? Where did all the pressure go? We looked smooth in the first half. I'm sick of watching sideways backward slot ball get him gone. So that I really do agree with. Because I wasn't wanting to punch the wall in the first half. I did think we were moving the ball. We were pressing okay. But we totally went sideways in the second half. And it was like the Wolves game all over again. Only for in that game, we at least went into halftime with a 2-0 lead. In this one, we still hadn't found the breakthrough. And it got worse in the second half. And I hope we will all agree that it just got desperate at the end. When you're emptying any threat you have, Chiesa, Ngamoa, Gakpo, just thrown on forwards, this is what undermines Arne's style, in my opinion. Because if there isn't the breakthrough with this, again, whatever style of football you want to call it, that's all it is. And it reminds me a lot of Ten Hag at United, where he wanted to play in a certain way, and when it didn't work, he just put Maguire up front, empty the bench of any talent from an attacking sense, and just hope for a moment. And that's what this felt like to me again at the end of the game. Not pressure building and building and building and building and building. It was more hopeful than intense. HFMCE said, subs made the team worse. Wirtz, though, under par, still looked more effective than Maka. Gakpo came on, did nothing also. Kavanagh is crap as usual, but no excuses. So definitely think a few little decisions the ref made, like I said, were the wrong ones, but not enough for me to say the ref impacted the game in any way. The substitutions thing is a very interesting one because we did all have our say on the substitutions. And I have to say, at least with the first three, I had no complaints about the players he brought on. But they didn't really have the desired impact. And that I can't really argue with, unfortunately. Why, I don't know. Thought we were going to outplay low blocks this year. So did I, with the players we brought in. But look, I do. Here's the thing, right? As much as I moan about the money we spent on talent and hating this low block excuse, it is a tough thing to break down. But I don't see any other team reporting their ability to struggle against it as much as it seems to come up for us. Whether it's from the manager, whether it's in press conferences. You know, sometimes if you say your own weakness out loud, people are going to then try to exploit that. And it basically comes out and tells people every week, this is how we struggle. And then people go, okay, well, guess what we're going to do? And do that. And here's the kicker. When we played Villa, and Villa didn't come and set up with a low block, and we went and had an open game, which we won, he actually came out and said, I'm surprised they didn't sit with the low block. I was surprised how open Villa were. So, yeah, look, if you're going to play against low blocks and you're expecting it, you got to create overloads. You got to move the ball side to side quicker. You got to get low or crosses that overload at the back post. You've just got to do things in a quick, fast, incisive motion. You've got to get late runs on the edge of the box. You've got to vary up your angles of attack. We didn't do a lot of that. Padge said, Slot will be delighted post-match, Craig. Good XG, control possession, composed build-up, rock and roll ball is dead. If this is us in 2026, I'm out. And don't forget the one that will be in all the in the Happy Clapper outlets, unbeaten in 8. Unbeaten in 8, but it won't tell the real story of frustration, boredom, and annoyance. Unbeaten in 8 will be the narrative. For me, we should have been within 5 points of Villa today. Now we're back to 7. And now again, we're in that battle with Chelsea for 4th when we should have been hunting down 3rd. And the fixtures are getting more difficult. So let's see what happens over the next few weeks. Cal said, bringing on Cody when Kirkes instantly neutralises Kirkes, forcing him to invert. Why not leave Wirtz out there? Happy New Year, buddy. I absolutely agree on the fact that I don't think Kirkes and Gakpo are compatible on the left side. I think Wirtz, Jones, Soboslai, Kirkes, any of those in that area on the left, I find have a better understanding of where not to move to. Whereas Gakpo does seem to take the half space and block off a lot of Kirkes' good potential runs. You seen straight away though when Kirkes came on, I think it was inside the first minute, he did make a beautiful overlap and run, and we got a cross that I think went to the Leeds keeper. But that's what we need to do, is to give him the space to make those moments and not block his pathways. Whale Gully, how are you, sir? We're not playing to win, we're playing to avoid losing. The club too big for this manager. Time for change. Let me just think about that for a second, mate, because it's an interesting point. What do we say, chat? Would you agree with Mr. Galley's point? Are we playing not to lose? Or... yeah, I mean, I guess there's two ways you can look at this, right? Arne could say, we didn't concede, and when we don't concede at home, more often than not, I'd back us to score a goal. And I think to an extent I'd usually agree with that. Today, though, didn't feel like a day where not conceding is enough to justify the result, because we didn't create enough. So we did the one part of it, but the other side of it that gets you the win didn't happen. And again, I keep coming back to this. We were 6 inches away from losing that game 1-0. Get him out. Slot is a disgrace. Our chances is top 4. Said no Sanchez. Nimrod Herwitz said, I beg for once that the reporters will change him or challenge him in the press conference with a difficult question regarding this shite, boring football. So, does anybody in the chat have an ideology that they'd like to put forward as to why we are playing in this way, that can educate me on how this can maybe turn into something that becomes more positive and upbeat? And I ask that sincerely, because I don't know if I'm just not intelligent enough or I'm missing something. But I don't see the methodology of what this is trying to be, other than frustrating. So I'm open to being informed on it, but at the moment I just feel frustrated. Squeet said, why are you waiting until the 80th minute to bring Chiesa on? I want to say it was 75th minute for Chiesa in there, but I may be wrong on that. But either way, the answer is he doesn't want Chiesa at the club. That's the answer. Whichever way we want to dress it up, that's the answer. Let's see if he's still a Liverpool player by the end of the month. Roshi said, how is it that we play with intensity in the first half, then come out and play a completely different style in the second half? Happened over the weekend too. Again, I think there's probably two thought processes to that question. Maybe Arne feels that what he wanted to do would have changed our attacking side of it and made us more likely to score. What actually happened in the real world didn't bear that out, obviously. Because you'd have to imagine that he doesn't say to them, go out there, lads, and have less intensity and do less. So something in the instructions, which of course we're not party to, does lead to this change again 2 weeks in a row in the second half where we've come out worse than the first half. And this is the irony of it for me, because last year, my big gripe was that we were starting games and winning them later in the second half. And I wanted us to be doing that earlier. This time, we start quicker, do not find the breakthrough, and yet get worse in the second half. So I'm at all kinds of odds with my own thought processes. Craig, you sound chill. Maybe you've given up too. There's an honest answer to this question, and I'm almost embarrassed to give you the real answer, mate. So let me... The trolls have gotten in my head is the answer. The people, like, over the last few days, there's been a lot of comments saying this channel should be called the Slot Out Agenda and the Anti-Slot Agenda. And it's got in my head. It's got in my head that I don't feel like I can be free without the backlash to say what I really feel. Which is why I took the time off, because it was getting into my head. And I'm questioning myself then. You know, am I being sincere? Am I really just anti somebody? Have I got an agenda? Am I seeing things that others aren't seeing? And, you know, I reflected a lot on it. And I wanted to come in today to try to be positive at a time where the results were in a direction that we were happy with. But I'm not happy, mate. I'm not happy. And I haven't been happy since March with the style of football. And I do think the job isn't right for Arne. And I do think the style of football is monotonous and bullshit and boring. And I do think that it goes into killing the atmosphere in the stadium. And I do think it is frustrating the players. And I do think that the manager is full of shit 90% of the time. I do. You know, and if people are going to hate on me for that, I guess I'm just going to have to take it, because it fucking kills me to sit here and feel like I'm not being sincere. It isn't good enough. We've got better players than we're seeing on the pitch. He should have been gone in the run of games with the Forest, the PSV Eindhoven. And look at Chelsea. I know we aren't Chelsea and we are a bit more patient with the managers. But ultimately, I want to win. I want this team to win trophies. I don't want this team to keep having year after year of rebuild, write it off, building towards something, because I don't see what we're building towards. I don't see this manager building towards anything other than another fucking excuse. So yeah, you're right. I have sounded chill. It is being forced because I'm not happy, but I don't want to be an embarrassment to my own community. And I don't want to be known as the negative Liverpool fan because it's gotten in my head. Because it's just not fucking good enough. It isn't. I could do a better job with this team. You could do a better job with this team. This manager, I don't think, has a style. I think he has a hard-on for possession and hopes for the best. There, I said it. He's killing the atmosphere with this crap, losing the Anfield fear factor. VI Joker said the high tempo we used to have has disappeared. Arne messes with my mental health. The club means so much and more. I love all it stands for. Slot doesn't care at all. There's nothing we can do. Look, I wouldn't say he doesn't care, because of course he cares. It's his job. But I just don't think he has the ability. I just don't think he has the ability to change us into a winning machine, removing what made us win in the first place. That's my problem with him at the minute. He took a style that had a winning implement, that had a philosophy, that excited fans, that got us on side. And in a weird way, when you do play that gung-ho, gegenpress, full-throated, 100-mile-an-hour shit, you're okay with a mistake or two. Because you know your full commitment to what you're doing. And you are taking chances. And sometimes when you take those chances, you know it's going to blow up in your face and you're going to concede a stupid goal or a counter-attacking goal, or you're going to give it away and they'll score. But it's worth the fucking sacrifice, isn't it? To me as a fan, it is. It's worth the sacrifice because at least I can get behind it. At least I can feel like the energy's there, the desire is there, the want is there, the mentality is there. This feels feeble. I don't recognise us. Again, Slot is a clueless fraud. This is turgid. Chad said, I don't have any words except what I just wrote. I don't know, man. I don't know. The Glasner thing is real. Hashtag more accountability, said Lucas. Well, I did say to you guys that I had been told to keep an eye on the Glasner situation. I don't know how that stands long term. I do want to say one thing today, though. I do think Canada had a decent game today because, you know, he's come in for a bit of criticism from me and from others. And I do want to say that I thought today he did all right. I don't think he really put a foot wrong. Our midfield still gives up too much space at times where people can just walk straight through the middle of it. I'd like to see that a little bit more condensed with a little bit more bite in there. There was a few times that our FL players weren't full-throated or full throttle in their 50-50s. Why is Liverpool coming out playing worse in the second halves? Must the football be slow so we can update his new book? Or in a slow slot? Man, I don't know. I always think what would be possible with another manager. I do flirt with that thought process myself on occasion, mate, yes. But I also struggle to think who'd be the right guy. And I'm a simpleton, and I'm going to come back to this again. I really need a manager that feeds off the crowd and the players. I just do. I need a manager that I feel like is going to be out there, heart on sleeve. That's just me. That's who I relate to. That's what I like. And Arna he's too cool for school for me. And I don't have that connection in the same way. And it leads to more frustration for me. Pulse Aiden Gaines said, member for 20 months. Thank you so much, mate. Said zero risk, zero reward. Slot is destroying our club. For me, the problem is that when we do get into the final third, the focus shifts to not losing the ball as opposed to scoring. Slot seems to lack the ability to devise good attacking tactics. It's so frustrating watching us pass the ball around outside the box for so long. Yes, it is. Like I said, for me, if you're going to break down a low block, you got to move the ball quickly. You got to create overloads, and we don't do that. Right, let's give you some comments from after the game. So Rio Engamoa created more chances in 12 minutes on the pitch against Leeds United than Cody Gakpo and Jeremy Frimpong. There's a weird stat for you. 2 chances created by Rio Engamoa in 12 minutes versus the 1 created by Frimpong and Gakpo in the time they were on the pitch. Quote from Jeremy Frimpong. He said, frustrating. We wanted to win the game. They defended well. At the end of the day, 0-0 is frustrating, but on to the next game. Also, he said, training, recover. We know what we can do. We've created a lot of chances. We need to go into the next game and do what we need to do, but better. We know what we should do. We know the moments and we know the patterns. So, love meant sincerely to Jeremy, But the fuck chances did we create, Jeremy? What chances is he talking about that we created today, ladies and gentlemen? Please fill me in. Because I see 19 shots, 4 on target, and I'm not thinking of we created a lot of chances. That's not how I feel after the game as a fan watching it. Love Jeremy Frimpong, but I disagree on that one. Paul said, clueless manager. Kirkes comes on and Verts off. Milosh doesn't know the patterns in front of him. Shocking, playing too slow all the game. I think Gakpo and Kirkes can't be on the pitch together. That's my takeaway from when they're playing. It's one or the other, to be honest. I think both of them just don't work together. Whereas if you look at the other side, when we had like Jones, Wirtz, Kirkes, I think it just knits together a lot better. Frankie Boy said, I love Nagelsmann for Slot. What's your thoughts? I've always had a dislike for Julian Nagelsmann, and it's for the most petty of reasons. He came to Anfield in a qualifier with Hoffenheim, and it was a qualifier for the Champions League, and he came and I don't want to say insulted, because that's not fair, but he said they're not going to be intimidated and that they don't buy into the atmosphere at Anfield being a problem. And I've kind of been wound up by him ever since that. I know it's fickle, but it's my honest answer. Wirtz and Gakpo really pissed me off today. OMG, said Peter. Bocky, LFC, said, what was that? So bad, this clown needs to go. Pass from one side to another at snail's pace. Slot, please go. Jones always keeps the ball for too long. Gakpo, for fuck's sake. Lucas said, Glasner, 3-5-2 to unblock the low block would be crazy. Centre back now, far slot, build our team around this until the end. Gerrard now, get him in the summer. I'd love us to bring in enough centre backs to switch to a 3-5-2 system. And I would strongly disagree with Arna on one thing. So Arna's belief, and you can go back and research this yourself, he said it, is that if you're going to change the system to a 3-5-2, a lot of our players have been focusing on the system for so many years at this club and previous clubs that was some version of a 4-3-3. And he said to do so mid-season doesn't give you enough time on the training ground. Ask Daniel Farke how that got on for him, because he changed it to a system that's different, and Leeds have started picking up more points since then. So he seems to have time to coach it and figure it out, and his players can do it, but our manager seems to think it's not possible for us. I don't know what else to say on that one. Forget FSG. No doubt Slot will mention FXG. Feckin' expected goals. Allows teams time to get into shape. No urgency, even on the counter. We're so predictable. And by the way, like I said, I'm reading out comments that people have paid money to send super chats in. So before anyone jumps in to say, Craig's on one again, do you ever think that for these people, I'm not the only one that's feeling the frustration? Because you can count all the comments. Everybody is frustrated with another performance like we've seen. That's just the frustration we as Liverpool fans feel at the minute. I'll give you some quotes now from the manager. He said, you'd like to start the year with a win, but it was difficult. I don't think we were able to play many times through their low block when we didn't have enough bodies in front of goal, and other times were unfortunate. Fuck off, Arna. Just fuck right off with your low block excuse bullshit. You were given £450 million to figure out the low block. You were given 2 British transfer record signings and another 70 odd million quid signing to find out a way to break the low block. Your team has Wirtz, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Jones, and I'm sitting here having to listen to him banging on about a fucking low block again? Low block my nuts, Arna, is my answer to you, mate. Low block my nuts. Because it's like your missus saying the one thing she knows winds you up. You know what I mean? That things they know when they push your button, that's the fucking button. That's how I feel about hearing about a low block now. I can't watch this slow style of play, Craig. said Aquila. Anteki said, I think the players are afraid of their own shadow, overpass, not when in good positions to cross, play it back. It gets tough. They choke. Peter said, yet to see a full 90 minutes of a good game from Liverpool since we lost at PSG last year. Kind of crazy given we won the league last year. No progress. I said that since the season's began, mate, that this whole fustercluck started last season and hasn't gotten any better. And you're right. You are not wrong. We haven't had one 90-minute performance. Not one. Closest we came, probably Madrid, who are all over the place themselves. And we did a decent one against Villa, who the manager himself said was surprised actually came and opened up space. But once again, what has he done? Ladies and gentlemen, all the slot-in army and all the journalists that want to talk about unbeaten in 8 and everything else that you want to try to find positives on, please just answer me this. How has our manager or our head coach once again coming into an interview after a game saying we struggled against the low block going to help us? Please, anyone. How? All it's going to do is give the next manager a big raging low block hard on that he's going to go in and just go, I'm going to come in here and guess what we're going to do? Low block the shit out of you and frustrate you. Low block, low block, low block, low block, low block. Because Aaron's gone around telling everyone. It's like you going into a nightclub, walking up to all the good-looking girls in there and going, come here to me, love. I've a tiny cock. Bet you're gagging for it now, aren't you? I've a tiny little todger. Because that's what he's doing. He's going out there into the footballing world and telling everyone we don't have a Scooby-Doo how to unpick a low block. And I'm not wrong. Chad said, no, don't ever change, Craig. Chris said, Craig, we love you for your honesty. That's what makes the channel special and why people tune in. Feck the trolls. Most Dutch managers' style of play, i.e. Van Gaal, Ten Hag and now Slot, is slow, patient build-up, side-to-side passing. You may have all the possession, but it also looks like boring football. I don't like it. It doesn't excite me, this brand of football. It doesn't make me want to tune in and watch it or feel like it's, you know, Liverpool are a must-watch viewing outside of being a fan. Real girl name said, always felt like we were going to win when Klopp did something. I lose hope when Slot makes a change. More for Arna. Let's give you a few more quotes from Arna. He said, if you look at the football, then you see two ways of unlocking a low block. You need pace. You need to be quick and dominate your one-on-one situations. Or you need a set piece. We were close with a set piece through Virgil. Close with a set piece through Jeremy in one-on-ones. Arna, you're wrong. You're wrong. You need to create overloads. Go watch Manchester City when they had Kevin De Bruyne and watch a masterclass in how to beat a low block. And a lot of the time, it's a low ball deep to the back post and a late run. Or it's moving the ball incisively. Or it's a moment of magic in and around the penalty area. You know the type of things that the British transfer record signings that you brought in were supposed to be able to do. It's not one-on-ones from wide areas and set pieces, you fucking fraud. That is absolute pony bullshit of the highest order. And he knows that. I'm an idiot and I know that. He knows what he said there is absolute tripe. And anyone that knows football knows that that's just bullshit. There are two ways to beat a low block. Overloads, Arna. Fucking overloads. Man City did it for years. Years and years and years. Low blocks, and De Bruyne would be pinging balls deep to the back post. Pinging balls deep to the other side. Third man runs from the edge of the box. Just all the stuff that we do not do enough of. Also, Arna, whether Hugo Ekitike should have won a penalty in the first half, I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that one of my players stay on their feet. It happened again against West Ham that Lucas Paqueta should have got a second yellow, but one of my players stayed on his feet. It's just a team where we are, and unfortunately it's not recognised. I saw Leeds players going down in the second half. The question is, should we change or not? I don't think we should. If he goes down, it probably would have been a red card and a penalty, and that would increase our chances of winning. Did you just hear what I read out? Our manager says, if Hugo goes down, it's a red card, we get a penalty, and we increase our chances of winning. But he doesn't want to do that because he wants to be the nice guy. I want to be the winning guy, Arna. I want to be the winning team. Not the we get a round of applause and a circle jerk from everybody because we're the good guys. We're the nice guys. We don't go to ground. We don't fucking win penalties. You do what you need to do to get the result. Fuck me. Sorry, I'll get back to your comments because the more I read of that absolute clown's comments, the more I'm getting wound up. Lewis Hardiman said, Craig, don't worry, Slot should have been gone ages ago and we all know it. Happy New Year from an Irishman in the Netherlands. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. F the haters, bro. Don't change. We love and appreciate you more than you know. I also struggle with my own mental health, as I know you do. Anytime you want a ticket, just hit me up, dude. Oh, Danny, I'll take you up on that, my man. Yeah, definitely want to get over to another game next year, mate. And yeah, keep in touch. Thank you. VI Joker said Slot needs to be on the phone to Klopp and right now and ask for some helpful advice. Arna is too much of a diplomat, no charisma. Leeds fan in the chat saying Leeds. Look, mate, I love Leeds. Genuinely. A lot of my uncles are Leeds fans. I get on great with loads of Leeds people, and I wish you and your club every success. Nothing but love and respect for me for your football club. It is a brilliant football club. And I hope you stay in the Premier League, and I hope you're here for years to come. And well done on your point today. Your team played well and earned a point. All my anger, bro, is based at my own team. Nothing but respect, and I wish you the best for the remainder of the season, Gary. I've been saying that Enrique should be our next manager. His football is entertaining. The football under this manager is predictable. He's about to get another big contract offer, though, at Paris Saint-Germain that will keep him there for quite a long time. But I don't disagree. I love Luis Enrique. The most depressing thing for me of all is Slot does not improve our players. He seems to stagnate them. What do you think, Craig? I feel sick. Well, one of the questions that we've struggled with quite a bit over the last while is trying to pick out players that he's really improved since he's come in. And there are one or two. I'm not trying to say he hasn't improved anyone. But I don't think there's been anywhere near enough of a level of improvement from the coaching side of things. Let's take a look at the man of the match poll because we're at 7,000 votes and it's pretty clear cut, so I think we can end it. So we are at 63% of people saying Jeremy Frimpong is your Anfield Agenda man of the match, and thank you very much for that. Giant gift to Craig Glasner or Alonso. Alonso for me. If I had to pick one of those two, it would be Alonso. Right. So, in the spirit of Craig, be yourself and don't stop being yourself, I want to ask the question that I want the answer to. Should Slot get fired? That's the next poll. We're going to leave that running for the 15 minutes or so we have left of the match reaction. And I want to see what you guys think on it. And we'll come back to that before we finish up. Colin Flores said, we used to come out fray in the second half, last 10 minutes to get a result. We now been devoid a panic trait under Slot. He's damaging us, excuse me, mate. This is the game of a mediocre coach who has several world-class players. He has no tactics and relies on individual plays from those same players. So, remember midweek when Aaron Briggs was fired? I came on and did a video. Connor did a video in the morning announcing the news that Aaron Briggs was fired. And I came on to do my evening news video. And in that video I said, I think Slot has scapegoated Aaron Briggs. And I got fucking creased in the comments for it. And I still stand over every word of it. And here's why. He's the head coach. He appoints his assistants and he appoints everybody else below him. Aaron Briggs wasn't brought in as a set-piece coach. Slot promoted him to a set-piece coach. And then when the media and everybody else starts calling attention to how poor we are at set-pieces, he fires Aaron Briggs. That to me is shithouse management. And you can disagree with me on that all you want, and you can say he's the set-piece coach. He isn't a set-piece coach. He was promoted to it and then fired for it. And yet, who doesn't get held to account for it? The very man that put him in the role. To me, all of these situations, in any structure, the top needs to be the one responsible, and everybody else below then falls with that person. Slot is the problem. Slot needs to be the one held responsible, not the underlings who are just, scapegoated and thrown under the bus. So I stand over every word of what I said on that, because that's genuinely how I would feel if I was a head coach or if I was working in a structure. Somebody got scapegoated there for how bad we were at set pieces. There's so many things we could do differently. We could go man to man. You guys have pointed it out. How is Macca marking Dan Byrne in the League Cup final from a set piece? These are all basic common sense things. Vincent Hussey said, Craig, what's the crack? Can we finish top 4? Yes, definitely, mate. Definitely we can finish top 4. But I guess the question should be, is that okay? Is top 4 okay? And to me, no. It's the bare minimum that we need as a club to make sure we're back in the competition next year. But that's not what the conversations were in the summer. The conversations were that we were to compete to challenge for every trophy. And we are so far removed from that at the minute that I don't see how I can sit here and not be lying if I think we can win the Champions League. We could win the FA Cup because we could get a nice run of fixtures all the way through and we could win the final. But I want the Champions League and the Premier League, especially with 450 million spent, especially with the type of players we have. That's what I want. That's what the decision was in the summer. That's where the conversation was. Now all of a sudden, so many people are revisiting it and going, well, you know what? Change and this happened and that happened. And do you know what it all is? It's excuses. It's just one fucking excuse week after week after another from a manager that has a book of excuses but a fucking post-it note of solutions. A book of excuses, post-it note full of solutions. Not good enough. Wirtz was a superstar. So was Isak. They're below average with Slot. We spent money but made the team weaker. Wonder if he broke his team and the players' form as a result of his influence. Look at Salah. He changed them. So, on the Isak thing, there is more to that than Slot to me. I think that is a case of no pre-season, fitness struggles, and a lot of mental pressure. So that I'll park up for a second. Wirtz, I expected him to take time to settle in, and he is getting there, and I do think he will come good. But hear me, in spite of the manager, not because of him, in spite of him. Because I think if Jurgen Klopp was managing Wirtz now, we'd see a very different player. I know he's never coming back, but God, I'd love to see Klopp all in the summer signings we made. Yeah, so would I, as I just intimated a moment ago, mate. It would be a very different sentiment. Because the crowd can't even get up for it at Anfield anymore. Because there's nothing for them to get behind. There's hope. There's always hope. But there's no belief something's coming. Because it's downbeat football. SpongeBob said, we went from rock and roll to boring and slow. Maresca was sacked for much, much less, in my opinion. He has to go. Gerrard is interim, then Klopp in the summer, please. What do you think? I don't think Klopp will come back. I really don't. I've said to you for ages I wouldn't mind Gerrard as an interim in the short term, because at least he'd get players out there playing with a rocket up their arse. And in the longer term, look, I'd feel more comfortable talking about that if the manager was replaced, because I'd then be able to start working through possible ideas. But right now, I'm just, again, annoyed because it's more points left on the table. We've left 4 points on the table against Leeds in the last few weeks, and it's not good enough. Mike, thank you, bro. Love you too. Appreciate you. And thank you for 24 months, 2 years. Happy 2 year anniversary, Mike. I've been out for a while now. Since the game after Frankfurt win versus Frankfurt, we switched to a 4-4-2 and played our best game. Yeah, afterwards we switched back to this crap, stubborn manager. For me, it was the Forest game. That was the one for me, where you could even sense it inside the stadium that was the game where a lot of people went, no, just no. This ain't it. Imagine we gave this money to Klopp to spend. We'd have met. How many more trophies would we have won? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. We still have a chance to win trophies this year, but like I do think we'd have a better chance under Klopp. Why is the board leaving it to the end? Why not try to build around now with a new manager? When the season starts, we'll already be back three. Is our salvation? We never finish in product with 3-5-2, perfect, or preferably. So, I mean, I guess from an ownership perspective, if you're thinking of firing a manager, there's a couple of things you weigh up. Is there somebody that can come in and improve, even if it's in the short term in an interim fashion? What's the longer term play after that? And who can we bring in then after this person? But the big question for me is, do they really consider sacking him? Because if you and I sit here and talk about it, that's all well and good. But if the people inside the positions at Anfield feel that Arne is somehow doing okay, then that's a bigger problem for us, I think. And it's hard to get a read on it because you've got report after report at one point telling us that he has the full backing of the board. But what I'm hearing and what others have heard on the QT is that it isn't as rosy and as sunshiny and that his position is under threat. But I can't say to you when they may act. They're not going to do it after a draw. I don't know what it will take. But I don't want it to be too late in the season. Because, will he turn it round? I don't think so. Can he? Anything is possible. But right now, here we are again. All of us frustrated. How is Hughes still okay with the football we play? I don't know if he is or not. When a man like Richard Hughes doesn't face the media and doesn't answer questions, it's hard to know how anyone's thinking. All we know is that there are a select group of journalists that get given a narrative that the club want pushed, and they do that job. Whether that narrative is that the manager's not under pressure, whether that narrative is that nobody's panicking behind the scenes, but none of the narrative ever seems to take into account the genuine, sincere feeling of a fan base, which is that nobody truly with their heart and soul, I would say 8 out of 10 people don't think Slot's going to be that guy. And I would say 1.5 of the 2 out of 10 that do are doing so because he won the league last year. If he did not win the league last year, I don't think you would find a single Liverpool fan on the planet that thinks he's the right guy now. I think some Liverpool fans, to their eternal credit and kindness, are still giving him credit for winning the league last year, and they want to just allow him to hang on a bit longer. I understand that mindset. I just respectfully disagree with it. He just accept the loss, low block, find solutions. Ideology, idea, mate. Slot 24/7 plays European away night possession football to frustrate the opposition and crowd. Yeah, hamstringing our biggest strength, which Jurgen knew, to play off the cop. Yes. Because there's nothing for them to get behind. I guarantee you there's a load of people leaving there today again, shrugging their shoulders and feeling frustrated. Sky said we're signing Joel Ordonez. Is that true? It's certainly very, very possible. A lot of reporting today has said it's trending in the right direction. Inter Milan are still at the table for Ordonez. Chelsea have backed away. And I think that there is a very good chance. I will definitely have more on this for you by the time I speak with you tomorrow. But right now, yes, I think there's a very good chance we sign Joel Ordonez. I'm gutted, once again, fed up, wondering if you have anything positive for me to hold on to. Also, as a member, do I get unlimited chats? Um, Unlimited super chats? No, God no. Um, you don't get any super chats as a member. You get membership milestone posts. You get emojis you can use. Your name appears in green to me and others, making it easier to comment or to spot your comments. But no, the answer to that part is no. Is there anything positive for you? We're unbeaten in 8. That's about the best I got for you, bro, at the minute. We're unbeaten in 8. Yeah, that's about the only one I got for you. Every time, the same excuses. Gay and Glasner needed. First time texting something as I've enough and want to get it off my chest. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to get it off your chest, and of course, I appreciate your support, my friend. I share your frustration, and I dare say many, many other Reds do. So, we have a poll running. I'm going to finish up in a couple of moments, so let's have a look at this poll. I asked you, should Slot get fired? And it's heading towards 2,000 votes, so we'll let it get to 2,000 votes before we click on the end poll. Craig, I remember we gave Slot a 2-year deal when he came in. Do you think we'll keep him in the season, and do you think we'll play a sacking clause? It's a 3-year deal, to the best of my understanding. He was given when he came in. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but my remembering of the situation is that it's a 3-year deal. And I remember reading a piece, I can't remember who wrote it, a few weeks ago that said if he does get fired, it's roughly going to cost 10 million. Because he's on something like 7 million a year. So 1.5 of his salary, just over the 10 million for him and the coaches, I think. The detective said, I think we are where we are at the moment as a club. Go out to not lose and hope we can win with some quality. I don't like it, but I think it's what we'll see in the short term, with the hope it gets better. Yeah, the hope it gets better is the interesting part, because how do you balance hope versus evidence? You know, because I love a bit of hope, me, I do, but the detective, you've got a very apt name for this one. Are we seeing the evidence of the improvements? I guess that is open to interpretation, and others will have a different answer. Slot has a poor reputation, and Hughes and Edwards were aware of this. Slot is an E-grade manager, said Joe Cavalier. Well, he did win a league title with Feyenoord. He did win a league title with Liverpool, but he also was thoroughly outthought and outplayed by Enrique and knocked out in the first knockout round of the Champions League. He threw away the League Cup this year. He was beaten badly by Newcastle in the final of the League Cup, when we were, we should have been on top in that game, and we were outfought. And again, why is McAllister marking Dan Burn from a corner? And he lost to Plymouth away in the FA Cup last year, but that was all Fede Chiesa's fault, according to him. Right, ladies and gents, let's end this poll. So, should Arne Slot get fired? Again, can't say Craig's a negative one. 83%. 83% of people say yes. And I'm going to say that some of the 17% are opposition fans in for a bit of bant saying no. And of course, there will be some Liverpool fans that now say yes. Yeah. Frustration. Hey Craig, love from Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, Godfather. Much appreciation. And a Happy New Year to you, sir. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go record the player ratings video. If you haven't had a chance yet, you can still join the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp and submit your player ratings. Just scan the QR code in the bottom corner of the screen. Once again, I want to say thank you to Big Up, our sponsors, and you will see us playing another Big Up predictions game for the next Reds game. Until then, thank you to our moderators, to Keane, and to everybody for, again, incredible bit of help. Thank you to Connor in the background for being amazing as always. Appreciate you guys. If you can't, do hit that like button for me before you head off. If we can get it up to 1,000 likes, that will really, really help push the stream out. And most importantly, Happy New Year. We're all frustrated at the moment here today, but I wish you, all of your families and your loved ones a happy, healthy, prosperous and love-filled 2026. I really appreciate you coming in and joining me. Keep an eye out for the player ratings video dropping in a bit. Get those likes up if you can for me. And most importantly, I love you all dearly. Thank you.